What a dream I had. I dreamt that I was in a war, not any war in particular, but just a war, and by my side was none other than President Abraham Lincoln. Honest Abe was smoking a cigar and holding a rifle, and he looked at me, spit out his cigar, and said with a booming voice, "Boy, get ready to kick some ass." And with that, we charged into battle together. So here I am on this battlefield, back to back with Abraham Lincoln, only that I notice that none of the enemies have faces. They're just blank. Somehow that made shooting that much more easy and justifiable. Suddenly, I hear Abe scream, and when I look over at him, he's laying on the ground bleeding. I shout at him, "Who did this to you, Abe? Who shot you?" And with one finger, he points across the battlefield where I see my own father over there standing with a gun. In an attempt to avenge the president's death, I point my gun at my own father and try to shoot, only find out that I'm out of bullets. And then he tries to shoot me, but he's also out of ammunition. So we both start picking up these small rocks and pushing them into our guns, and somehow this works. So here we are just shooting each other with these tiny pebbles and rocks, and my father all of a sudden starts laughing. Seeing this, I couldn't help but start laughing myself. Then all of a sudden, there is no more war. It's just me and my father standing next to each other, laughing for no apparent reason. And then I woke up. Go figure.
Man, what a strange dream. I dreamt that I was a little kitten. I was still myself, but just as a cat. And I was living in this little cardboard box in the alley of some random big city. It was a dank and run-down place. I was alone in this alley, except for one old lady who would bring me food and water and sit and talk to me. One day, the old lady that took care of me didn't show up. Same thing the next day, and the day after. So I decided I would go and find her myself, and for the first time, I left the alley that I lived in. Eventually, I remember seeing a newspaper on the ground that stated she had died in some unspecific manner. Needless to say, I was devastated because this was the only friend I had. I didn't know what to do, so I just sat there in the street and cried. I remember going to the old lady's funeral. I was in a black dress, but I was still a cat. I looked around and noticed that everyone else at the funeral was also a cat. There are hundreds of them, all here for the funeral. Then it occurred to me just how many cats this lady had in her life, and I felt almost offended that I wasn't the only cat in her life. Furious, I got up in the middle of the ceremony and walked out. I woke up then, but I still felt angry at this fictional dead lady.
Man, I just had a weird dream. In my dream, I was a superhero. I don't know what my power was or even how to use it, but somehow I knew I had a superpower. Anyway, in the dream I was trying to become a member of the superhero league or something, but they said that I couldn't unless I caught a criminal first. So I ran to go find a criminal somewhere to stop. Eventually I found what I thought was an evil criminal, dressed in prison garbs and running down the road. I quickly made a plan to trip him using a piece of wire, while I hid in the bushes. I set it all up and waited as he got closer and closer, but nothing happened. I peeked out of my bush and saw the criminal jump roping with the wire that I was trying to catch him with. So I jump out of my hiding spot to catch the jump roping criminal, but all of a sudden I realized that I am the criminal. I can't explain how, but we instantly switched bodies as he tackled me to the ground and tied me up. After that, I remember going to prison, and the criminal getting some kind of award or something. I started shouting that he was a fake, but the crowd around him just drowned me out. I woke up still shouting at the man.
And that was my dream.
Not sure what to make of it.
Dreams are strange like that.
Sometimes you find familiar faces.
Sometimes you get to be someone else.
And sometimes they just don't make sense at all.
But every time I lay to rest
And close my eyes to fall asleep.
I look forward to my next adventure.
That's what my dreams are made of.